disruptive developments, calling for radical innovations. Digitization has sparked dynamic shifts that are changing our everyday lives. Do you want to understand how and why? Let's get to it.
Discuss today's challenges with our prestigious experts. Understand disruptive innovations and their potential. Exchange your points of view and take action. At the 2021 Global Media Forum, the international and interdisciplinary conference hosted by DW. Are you ready?
Yes, we are ready, and I hope that you are too. Hello, and a very warm welcome to the Global Media Forum 2021. It is so good to be back. We are coming to you live from the DW headquarters here in Bonn, Germany. And of course, we would have loved for you to be here as well. But unfortunately, because of the COVID-19 pandemic, that is not possible this year, but fingers crossed for next year. All right, despite the problems that we have faced, despite the challenges, I can promise you that we have a great program planned for you for these 2 days. We have a wonderful lineup of speakers. We have wonderful panelists. And of course, we do have some entertainment. Those who have been to the Global Media Forum before, they know that entertainment is also part of our program. So stay tuned for that. By the way, my name is Liz Shaw. I am a journalist and a presenter here at DW. I present 2 TV shows. One is called Focus on Europe, and the other one is called The 77%. That is our special show for our young audiences in Africa. So, disruption and innovation, that is our theme for this year. And we will kick things off with some music. And when we were looking for an artist, we decided to look for one who is also an innovator. We found one. Her name is Lizzie, and she will be here on the stage with a 3D drum dress. What is that exactly? She will show us in a moment. So, Lizzie, the stage is yours.
Hello, 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 everybody, everybody. My name is Lizzie, 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 Lizzie. I am the drum machine. Drum machine.
You will feel my claws. You are my servant, and I dictate for. Call me just Mickey. No chance to foresee what I will do with you to make you satisfy me. Tiger, sweet little cutie beast, acting like a big tiger. Sweet little cutie beast, acting like a pretty little hamster sneaks around. You're the easy prey, you're bent back. Being devoted to the naughty queen, your bones follow me. Now play my game. Big cat triggers, craving tiger. Sweet little cutie. kitty cat, acting like a big tiger. Kitty cat, tiger. Kitty cat, acting like a big.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was Lizzie. That applause is for you. Thank you so much. Thank you for entertaining us. And I don't know when was the last time that you actually were able to listen to some live music. It has been ages for me, so I was really entertained by you, Lizzie. Once again, thank you very much. And the good news is that we will have more of Lizzie later during our lunch break, so stay tuned for that. And now I would like to invite the Director General of DW, Mr. Peter Limbourg, for some opening remarks.
Thank you, Liz. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends and partners, what a happy day. Global Media Forum is back. And it is back big because we have more than 5,600 attendees from 161 nations. And it's great to have so many partners, journalists, politicians, founders, media managers, scientists among us. And yes, we would have loved to welcome you in person here. And seriously, we miss the encounters with you because we normally learn from each other talking directly. But I'm quite convinced that we will have a great program also here in Bonn at the Global Media Forum. Chancellor Merkel will give us a short greeting. The Prime Minister of North Rhine-Westphalia, Armin Laschet, will be speaking to us. He's here in Bonn. Welcome, Armin Laschet. And also Annalena Baerbock from the Green Party, who is competing with him to become the next German Chancellor, will be talking to us later today. State Minister Michel Müntefering from the Foreign Office is also part of our GMF. Let me also welcome the heads of our supervisory boards, Peter Klever and Karl Jüsten. But now it's time to listen to Angela Merkel and her message for our Global Media Forum.
Sehr geehrter Herr Limbourg, sehr geehrte Damen und Herren, ich grüße Sie alle sehr herzlich, die Sie am Global Media Forum der Deutschen Welle teilnehmen. Global ist dieses Forum in der Tat. Aus 120 Ländern finden Sie sich hier zusammen. Aus gutem Grund. Disruption and Innovation. Das Thema dieses Forums bewegt und beschäftigt uns weltweit. Wir erleben tiefe Umbrüche in der Medienlandschaft, angetrieben von digitalen Technologien und sozialen Netzwerken. Doch wie wollen wir mit der Transformation umgehen? Wie und wofür die technischen Möglichkeiten nutzen? Welche Werte, Prinzipien und Regeln wollen wir auch in der digitalen Welt anwenden? Freiheit, das ist wohl der Wert, der mit Internet und Digitalisierung in besonderer Weise in Verbindung gebracht wird. Die virtuelle Welt kennt scheinbar keine Grenzen. Hier kommen Menschen aus verschiedensten Ländern und Kulturen zusammen. So bieten sich auch beste Gelegenheiten, den eigenen Horizont zu erweitern. Vielen Menschen ermöglicht das Internet erst, sich in die öffentliche Diskussion einzubringen und sich mit ihren Interessen und Überzeugungen weithin Gehör zu verschaffen. Und dennoch, in der digitalen wie auch in der analogen Welt hat Meinungsfreiheit, wie auch jede andere Art der Freiheit, Grenzen. Und zwar dort, wo Freiheiten und Grundrechte anderer verletzt werden. Aber wo genau verlaufen diese Grenzen? Auf der einen Seite gibt es Persönlichkeitsrechte zu beachten. Auf der anderen Seite braucht es Freiräume für den Datenverkehr, um eben datenbasierte Innovationen zu ermöglichen. Zwischen beiden die richtige Balance zu finden, ist alles andere als einfach. In demokratischen Gesellschaften, in denen wir uns neuen Entwicklungen aufgeschlossen zuwenden, müssen wir auch immer wieder gewissenhaft abwägen, was Freiheit für uns konkret bedeutet und wie wir Freiheit und grundlegende Rechte schützen. Wie also soll unsere digitale Zukunft aussehen? Für Ihre Suche nach Antworten darauf wünsche ich Ihnen anregende, ideenreiche Diskussionen auf diesem Global Media Forum. Herzlichen Dank und alles Gute für Sie.
The German Chancellor, great to have her on this forum. So what kind of journalism do we need in the future? Also in Germany, I'm convinced journalism has to become more diverse. This applies to the content, but also to the makers. We need more diversity. We need to bring also more voices from the global south in the discourse. After the pandemic, we should work even stronger on solution-based journalism and do this together. This is what our users around the globe are expecting from us. We don't need activism in journalism either, no matter how good and beautiful the cause may be. We would do well to keep our distance and strive for truthfulness. We all know there really are enough activists in the internet, and there is also a lot of attitude there. We need more subsumption and explanation, more facts and fact-checking. And journalists, especially if they work in public service media, should hold back with their private opinions on social media, especially in times of election campaigns. We are here to inform and not to polarize. However, when it comes to freedom of the press and freedom of expression, we have to take a clear stand all around the world. Just two bad examples from the past few weeks. Our East Africa correspondent Mariel Müller was shot at with tear gas cartridges by the Kenyan police while filming an interview on a peaceful demonstration. She was injured and had to be taken to hospital. One of our correspondents in Belarus, Alexander Budakov, was sentenced to 20 days of jail just because he reported on a trial. What is happening in Belarus is a shame for Europe, and it would not be possible without the massive support of the Russian government. Like all autocrats, Lukashenko and Putin want a press that always praises them. That is not a free press, this is pure propaganda. Ladies and gentlemen, dear friends, I'm pleased that after the Chancellor, we can hear another important German politician here at the Global Media Forum. Let me introduce to you our next speaker, Armin Laschet. Since he became Premier of this region 4 years ago, he has supported the Global Media Forum. Together with the Foreign Office, North Rhine-Westphalia is the main sponsor of the GMF. Thank you for your continued support, Mr. Premier. And as a former journalist and an international-minded person, Mr. Laschet understands the importance of international public service media. And he has always been an advocate of freedom of expression and a free press. So welcome again, Armin Laschet. Great to have you with us. And the floor is yours.
Ja, vielen Dank, lieber Herr Limbourg, liebe Gäste in der ganzen Welt und hier in Deutschland. Herzlich willkommen zum Global Media Forum 2021. Ich freue mich sehr, dass in diesem Jahr auch die Bundeskanzlerin mit dabei ist. Ihre Botschaft war auf den Punkt.
And she came up with a very clear message. In 2019, Federal President Frank-Walter Steinmeier opened the Global Media Forum, which also underscores just how important this forum has become. It always puts anything related to media in a global context, and there are not a lot of international conferences that would do the same. So, thank you very much for making this conference possible. We are seeing these days in particular that it is really important to have an exchange of experience on what's happening in the world of media across borders. And now more than ever, in the face of the pandemic, which caught us off guard last year. And the pandemic made it quite clear that we are all interconnected. If a dangerous virus is spreading in one part of the world, then it may actually affect the rest of the world just a couple of weeks later, with consequences for millions of people dying, and severe consequences for the global economies as well. And then the question is, how are media reporting on such a phenomenon? And that's why independent, fact-based journalism has never been as important as it is today. I would have loved to welcome you all to Bonn, at the center of North Rhine-Westphalia and at the heart of Europe, if you will. But unfortunately, this exchange now is only possible in a digital format like last year. And it is a strange feeling for me to speak to you here in a room which is almost empty. And I would hope that we'll be able to gather face-to-face before long again. It is a blessing, though, that it was possible to develop effective vaccines within such a period of time. I think we will be able to provide vaccines to ever more people in order to overcome this pandemic. However, once again, it became clear what it takes is a global response. It's not enough for the rich countries of the North to have their people vaccinated, while at the same time leaving a lot of people in the poorer countries leaving empty-handed. And that's why it was important that last week the G7 decided to also make vaccines available in large volumes to other countries in the South. It's good that we have multilateral solutions, and it is good that the United States are standing side by side with the World Health Organization again, so that we can fight the pandemic across the globe. And then we'll be able to meet again face-to-face at the next Global Media Forum. Now, there is a deluge of information on anything to do with vaccines, and the atmosphere is charged with emotion. There's a lot of misinformation and myths which are spreading in no time, and therefore it is more important than ever that independent journalists are opposing this trend, that they are refuting fake news, opposing misinformation, and that they are providing orientation, which also means that we have a critical debate. You don't have to approve every measure taken by a local government to fight the pandemic. But misinformation is not acceptable. And there is no way we can call scientific findings into question or put them upside down. But we'll be facing similar things in the next couple of years. We are facing similar phenomena in connection with climate change, for instance. And again, it's important that we have a common perception of facts before we then may resort to different political solutions. That's crucial to our coexistence in a democratic society. Now, Mr. Limbourg told us about the difficult situation many journalists find themselves in at the moment. And I think it is fair to say that, yes, journalism is under pressure in some states, in some societies. Even in Germany, there have been demonstrations where journalists were under attack. And that's why it's crucial that all societies across the globe become aware that freedom is not possible without a free press, without free journalism. And that's why it's not acceptable for any journalist to suffer any disadvantages as a result of their occupation. And we need to show solidarity with them, especially with journalists who are jailed. And business models have now become under pressure, including in newspapers in the world of media and newspapers, even though there are still a lot of people who would prefer to read their news on a piece of paper rather than on their smartphones, including myself. So people have different perceptions all over the world, and this is something that we should take into account. When you look at the changes in the media world over the past 10 years, when you look at all the innovation that we have seen as part of digital transformation, then we needn't be afraid. Companies are doing a lot to support this trend, and especially in journalism, there are a lot of pioneers who are breaking new ground, and very successfully so. But politicians also have to make a contribution. They need to provide the right framework to enable good journalism in order to make good business models possible in the first place. And I would like to mention one result here which has kept us very busy in Europe and Germany, namely the creation of a copyright law for the digital age. 2 years ago, there was a heated debate about this subject at EU level. And by the way, this debate wasn't always based on facts and well-founded information. There were also a lot of myths. Young people thought that somebody was about to abolish the internet. And it was very difficult to actually explain that you always need to strike a balance, and that a journalist that is providing a kind of service that others benefit from should also be able to make some money from it. That's what copyright is all about. Germany decided about 2 weeks ago that the law should be adopted. The result is quite remarkable. And the decision didn't come easy for politicians, but they managed to strike the right balance. It's a balance that ensures that creative work is acknowledged, that authors and other initiators can make some money with their work. It's a balance that maintains online freedom, and it's a balance that requires something from everyone involved, including the big platforms. To me, it was of particular importance that our media companies, which are making their money with content, can live with the regulations agreed, because they must be able to finance themselves in the market in the future as well. And that's why I particularly welcome the fact that Google, for example, announced that they want to work constructively with press publishers now that copyright law also comes with an ancillary copyright. The Google Vice President Central Europe is also here today and will discuss with other distinguished guests later on. Philip Justus, I'm very pleased that you are here today, and I'm very much looking forward to the panel discussion. Despite all the challenges, one of the reasons I'm optimistic regarding the future of journalism is that many journalists are thinking in very concrete terms about ways to improve. Improve in the sense of gearing journalism more closely to readers' needs, those listening to radio programs or spectators on television. We see that more and more people are making a conscious decision to avoid news because they don't want to be confronted with negative reports, scandals, and disasters all the time. This also means, however, that those people opt out of the public debate. And that's not good for anyone, not for the media company, which in times of declining advertising revenues relies on paying customers more than ever, nor for the democratic society as a whole, which depends on well-informed people joining the public debate. It is therefore in the vested interest of media makers that they not only deal with technological innovation and strategies for modernization, but also ask themselves what they can change about their product so as to win those people back. And many editors all over the world have acknowledged this some time ago. For example, a lot of them are experimenting with ideas on how to make their product range more appealing using constructive or solution-oriented journalism. In other words, how to report just as critically and seriously on positive developments and solutions as on problems and grievances. And in Germany, there are some promising approaches in the same direction as well. A lot of media brands, renowned media brands, have started to take action. Newspapers, TV stations, radio stations, online providers. But something that's still missing is someone who coordinates all these activities, someone who purposefully brings journalists together and offers opportunities for exchange and training, who creatively supports innovation processes in media companies, and not for the ivory tower of science, but with tangible benefits for editors. And that's why I am particularly pleased with our far advanced plans in North Rhine-Westphalia to set up a new journalism institute that is designed to close precisely this gap. This project has the full backing of the government of North Rhine-Westphalia, and I couldn't think of a better location for this sort of journalism institute than North Rhine-Westphalia, together with Deutsche Welle in Bonn, RTL, and Deutschlandfunk in Cologne, the Handelsblatt in Düsseldorf, and a lot of local newspaper publishers and radio stations. North Rhine-Westphalia is the #1 media state in Germany. Such a journalism institute, however, cannot be initiated or controlled by the state. Journalism needs to be out of the state's reach. And such an institute will only be able to fly if it is supported by the media industry and if it reinforces innovation and accelerates innovation. I am still cautiously optimistic as far as the freedom of media worldwide is concerned, even though a lot of journalists are still threatened, jailed, or even murdered. Belarus was also mentioned, and the attack on civil aviation, which is a one-of-a-kind event and completely unacceptable. Such events could make us pessimistic. It makes me more confident, however, that in these times there are more people who want to see high-quality journalism. Whenever people feel uncertain, they want to know where to find reliable information. And there are people who risk everything, no matter the consequences for themselves. Journalists to do that, and they deserve our full backing. And just think of Belarus and all the young people who took to the streets there. I met the famous opposition politician in Belarus whose husband was jailed. You see, the freedom of the press, the freedom of opinion are crucial. We need to support those who are fighting to make that possible. And we should acknowledge the efforts of journalists who are doing their job against all odds. Like Tubore Ovuori, a Nigerian journalist who is given the Freedom of Speech Award today, or the award winners of previous years, all of whom are shining examples. It is people like them who encourage others because they represent journalists across the globe who are fighting for freedom. To wrap things up, I would like to wish you an insightful and exciting global media forum. The program is really quite impressive. We would like to thank Deutsche Welle, which continues to enhance this conference format with a clear view of the situation of media all over the world. And needless to say, a particularly warm thank you goes to those who are providing input to this conference. And next year, we will not be meeting in a virtual format again. Instead, we will meet face-to-face here in Bonn. I'm certain of it. Until then, stay safe. Thank you. Goodbye.